excellent condition or connection. Are we live? I never think we're live until I see the video preview because it counts up like 10 seconds and then it starts over. Alright, I see myself, so I assume we're on the air. On the internet. Air. Wherever that is. Hey, welcome to episode of Chad's Beer Reviews. This is a pretty special beer for a few reasons. Well, let's introduce the beer. Alright, so Firestone Walker Velvet Merkin 2018 vintage. This is a bourbon barrel aged oatmeal stout, and it's only 7.8% ABV. It's not super strong. So I remember when way back in the day, probably like between 2010 and 2012, 13, like when I lived in Albany, you know, we'd always heard great things about Firestone Walker out of California. I forget, I think it's Paso Robles. Not that I know where exactly that is in California, but yeah, Paso Robles. Anyway, so we had been, me, Jay, on, you know, my other beer drinking buddies out there, couldn't get enough of Firestone Walker. Every time they came in, they would sell out real quick. I remember doing trades for Firestone Walker. I remember doing a review for the regular Velvet, I think it's called Velvet Merlin, maybe, in the snow outside, and that was a fun, memorable review. It was very cold that day. Not so cold here in Florida. It's probably like 85 degrees in October, coming up on Halloween. So anyway, I haven't had a beer from this brewery in a long time. I got this beer on Tavor. If you're looking to sign up, link in the description below. You get $10 off your first purchase. And listen to what I sent you. I think I got four bottles from Tavor, and they were all, I think they were $7.99 or $8.99. Why don't I bring the... Okay, this bottle was $9.99. All right, so let's get into it. So, give it a whiff here. Yeah, bourbon and kind of like a coffee aroma. Very, you know, bourbon, vanilla, kind of woodsy. Almost like a smoky character too, yeah. And a lot of oatmeal stouts, I don't know why, but sometimes you just get like a smoky sensation on them just from like the roasted malt on them. Like a fruity essence as well, you know, lots of dark fruit. No real alcohol presence, but again, it's only 7.8, which is really light for a bourbon barrel aged stout. You know, it is not like a KBS or Goose Island Bourbon County or something like that. It's, you know, it's like a solid. I guess it's just the oatmeal stout and then just throw it in bourbon barrels and it picks up a little alcohol that way. As far as appearance, it probably looks black on camera. It's really more of a really dark brown and was actually quite clear coming out of the bottle. It did have, you know, quite a bit of foam when I poured it. And we got a little bit of like a khaki suds on the top there. So let's dive in here. Cheers. Interesting. There it goes. I was getting quite a few different flavors on this beer. What struck me the most is that it's actually rather kind of fruity flavored. And I don't mean like that they throw raspberry puree or anything like that in there. It's just when you have like dark malt just tends to impart a fruit kind of flavor. Like cherry, fig, plum, raisin, something like that. So I am getting a lot of that from the base stout. And then there's just the general background of bourbon and kind of vanilla flavor. And then, like, when I said, oh, there it is, like, kind of this residual, I get this roasty, like, roasted malt kind of coffee flavor in the aftertaste. There is, like, a little bit of, like, a smokiness on here. But otherwise, I would say this beer is, well, I mean, it's pretty even. It's, yeah, it's malty, but it's not super sweet and cloying. You know, the bourbon barrel is there to just kind of give it like a bonus flavor. And it's really interesting, and I love when breweries experiment like this because people like me are so used to drinking bourbon barrel aged imperial stouts that are like minimum 10% ABV. 7.8 is it's kind of interesting. Although reminds me again from way back in New York, there's this brewery in Troy called Brown's that does a whiskey barrel aged porter that's only like I think it's like 5%. So it's like this lovely just solid like kind of like founder's porter, and then it's like barrel aged to just kind of like give this like extra sweetness. Yeah, so like real fruity. It's like a general fruit flavor with kind of vanilla and bourbon in the background. I would say that though, the bourbon character is now that I'm really drinking it, like I think that it's quite subtle. In fact, if you hand this to me blind, I don't know if I would pick up on that it was like a wood aged beer. Like it seemed to have like a there definitely is like a kind of confectionery sweetness to it, but to me, it doesn't really strike me as like being specifically bourbon or spirit aged or even wood aged for that matter. The mouthfeel on this is actually not super thick and heavy. I mean, it should be. It's only 7.8 BV oatmeal stout. Um, so it's not the uh, slightly carbonated syrup that you might be expecting. It kind of has the mouthfeel of like well, I was gonna say a Guinness, but I mean it's not quite that thin, but yeah, I would probably call this about a medium light mouthfeel actually. It is not a super sappy sticky beer. That being said, it's really easy to drink. No alcohol presence as far as in flavor or like as far as warmth in the throat or anything like that. This is drinking like I said, like a 5% like regular, table strength, porter. Well, I mean it's a stout, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so I mean, there's like a lot going on. It's funny because like there's a lot going on, but like the actual intensity or the robustness of the palate, like you would think it'd be like way up here, but it's actually down here. So it's kind of like the volume is turned down, but you still have like kind of like a symphony of flavors going. Yeah, it's like a symphony of flavors, but with the volume turned way down. Like KBS or Goose Island is like a symphony, like at max volume. This is, symphony at at like library volume. Hmm. Yeah, I mean it tastes good. It tastes fine. It's not amazing. And plus, again, this is a 2018 vintage, so I assume that means it was bottled in 2018, or has it been sitting in bourbon barrels for 2 years? I don't know. I just assume that it was bottled in 20. I'm trying to find a bottling date. I don't see one. Um, I mean, it's funny because getting my beer through Tabor, I almost never get bottles. Like probably 90% of the beer they sell on that site is in cans, which I actually like. Yeah, so oh wait, I think I see. I can see like where a bottling code was, but it looks like it's smudged out. By the way, the beer is like the same color as the bottle. Oh, here's my new roommate. This is not Leo. This is Logan. He's Leo's brother. He lives downstairs, but his owner is going away for 2 months, so he's staying with me for 2 months. Hey, bud, say hi. You can see he looks a lot like Leo, but his face, like his nose is darker and like his eyes are bigger, and his face is just, and his fur is darker orange. If you saw Leo right next to him, like he looks like pale compared to Logan. I didn't name him. The guy downstairs did. Anyway, let's wrap this up. I gotta say, I like this beer. It's just not quite the mind blower I was hoping for. Yeah, show the. And also, no, it's not Logan. Or it is Logan. It's not Leo. Yeah, solid. Interesting. Bourbon barrel aged oatmeal stout. It would be fun to go through the specs for both, specialty wood aged and oatmeal stout to see how it scores. I think it would be like in the high 30s on both. I can't really see this beer being much higher than, like, as far as, two spec, like 37, 39 tops, maybe 40. I think that's what I probably would rate it. I think I would go on Untappd. I'll give this a 4 out of 5, maybe a 3.75. It's good. It's fine. I like it. Just not quite the mind blower. $9.99 for one bottle. Okay, I'll do that like once, just this one time. But I'm not gonna. I wouldn't buy like a 6-pack of this for $60 or whatever it would be. So, all right, I'm going very long. Thanks everyone for watching. Sorry if you just joined because I'm about to wrap it up. But I will see you guys around. Oh, by the way, follow me on Untappd. There's a link in the description below, and you can see what I'm drinking on there because I don't post every single beer to YouTube. So, all right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you probably tomorrow. Bye.